Just to kick off, Governor Rajan, central banks stabilised the financial system and the world economy after the crisis with their massive response. With this renewed turmoil in markets around the world, are we beginning to see the darker side of that intervention?
First, let's remember they did a wonderful job post-crisis. We would be staring at the Great Depression, or we would be in the midst of it if they hadn't done what they did. And I think people like Axel, Ben Bernanke, they pulled out all stops, they got us back on track. The real problem is that there has been no other game in town since then. And with many central banks with their foot firmly pressed on the accelerator, and with a variety of new aggressive monetary policies, it's not clear that we've really benefited tremendously. And to some extent, we may have reduced the room for other policies or reduced the incentive for others to take policies. The net effect of all this is we have a variety of asset prices where we really don't know whether they're at fundamental levels or not. Certainly bond prices where we've intervened a lot. But once you change long-term interest rates, you also affect equity pricing. Eventually you affect exchange rates also. So we're in a world where we're not quite sure what the fundamental value of any asset is. And I would suspect that this is part of what is going on today, that as there is some anticipation that central banks will start reducing the accommodation, asset prices are trying to find an appropriate level. And given all that's happened so far, I think some volatility was to be expected. We realized that monetary policy is not going to fix the problems, that the change in the models have to happen. Across Europe, you're seeing structural reforms. You're seeing China move towards this consumption-led path. Certainly in my country, we are moving towards a more a structure where the government is not so much about directing, but about enabling, about creating the underlying frameworks for growth. And that, I think, will sustain us long-term and create growth over 10, 15, 20 years rather than over the next few quarters. So my sense is countries are realizing that stimulus doesn't cut it as much anymore. Certainly monetary stimulus has largely run its course.